Welcome, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another video. Really, thankful for your support that you have been giving this channel so far. And I do look forward for your continued support as we seek to grow this channel, right? Now, the purpose of this video basically is that I want to look on a press release that Cricket West Indies would have published a short while ago as it relates to the finals of the CG United Super 50 Cup, right? uh, I just want to say up front that I would have read the article, right? And there are some, things that, would have raised some questions in my mind which I would want to, share with you, uh, our viewers, right? And also, I would have had some questions for CW. Hi, that's Cricket West Indies. Uh, I think in the, at the last paragraph of the article, they would have said that CWI will review tournament regulations in light of the unprecedented situation of a double forfeit. Uh, Additional information will be shared following further consultations with the stakeholders, right? So that's a very important statement they would have said at the end of the article, right? So I'm not here to, cuss out anyone or to bash anyone. I just have some, questions in my mind as a, avid supporter of West Indies cricket. And also, I'm a Jamaican fan because I'm from Jamaica, right? But I think what would have happened yesterday would have left, you know, a bad, I mean, the West, the tournament was such a very good tournament leading up to the finals. And it's, very, because initially I was thinking that it was the rain that would have, prevent play from being from going forward, right? But based on this article, it doesn't seem like it was the heavy rain, fully that would have accounted for the no play yesterday. So I'm going to get into the article and just bear with me for a moment as I would read a few paragraph from the article. I'm not going to read everything because there are some other verbiage in the press release that would not be applicable to what I would want to talk about. Right? So the caption of the article published by Cricket West Indies is that no champions crown for CG United Super 50. And this was published on November 24 at 5:08 p.m. Right? That's a short while ago. Right? Just over an hour ago. This was published on Cricket West Indies site. So it says an anticlimax conclusion to what has been an exciting and competitive CG United Super 50 Cup 2024 with both finalists, Barbados Pride and Jamaica Scorpions, forfeiting the finals. Consequently, Cricket West Indies has announced that there will is no champions for the year's competition. The tournament organizers made the announcement following a heavy rain affected match day. This year's champions were set to receive prize money of US $100,000, and while the runner-up would receive US $50,000. Both semi-finalists will be rewarded with US 25,000 each, right? With an initial scheduled start of 1 p.m., scattered showers began at the ground around midday, forcing the first indefinite delay to the start of proceedings. Match referee Ryan King, in conjunction with the umpiring team, informed both teams that the latest possible start of 6:17 p.m., at which point the game would be played at 20 overs a side contest. According to the players, playing condition applicable to the tournament, if no play was possible at all, or in the event of a tie, no result, or game abandonment, both teams would be declared co-winners of the tournament. However, around 5:45 p.m., officiating team determined that the game could proceed at the latest possible start at 6:17 p.m. They informed the players of this and that the toss would be conducted at 6 p.m. Despite assurance from the umpires and match referees that the conditions were safe for play, both captains failed to present for the toss, allowing time to elapse past the latest starting point. As a result, both teams failed to take the field, effectively refusing to play. This resulted in a double forfeit, with no champions being declared. This unanticipated event came at a climax at what had been an exceptional tournament featuring outstanding performance. And this is really, bad. We have to be careful of the, precedents that we set, as a people. Um, with a tournament like this and this sort of information coming forth to the public, what is the standard being set for the younger generation coming up, right? Um, and I think I want to speak to Cricket West Indies. Yes, I would have said that they are still doing some consultation, but we would have had some questions here. And Cricket West Indies, a part of what they will publish because they say that an additional information will be shared. So I think that these questions that we have, we would really appreciate if Cricket West Indies could, answer these questions for us. And, in their additional information that they will share. Because I think, a press release, one of the main purpose for it is to, you know, kind of all the misinformation that would be out there, they would try to, more like of a damage control, because a lot of questions would have been asked since yesterday evening about the competition. And this article that Cricket West Indies would have published, it doesn't answer, the questions that were being asked. It just shows that there were some issues between the players and the organizers of the tournament, right? And it just leave a bad taste in the mouth of the fans, right? All right, so there are certain questions that comes in my mind. Having read this article, and one of the first questions that comes to my mind is, why did the captains didn't turn up for the toss? Why did that happen? Right? We need. Were there any consultation between the organizers and the captains? Because I certainly don't believe that Raymond Reefer and John Campbell would be the only ones involved in making such a decision. Because yesterday I suspect that it would have been because of the heavy rain. No play would have you know been allowed. But this article is not saying that. This article is saying that they could have started, a little after 6 p.m., right? With a 20 overs per side, but the two teams refused to play, right? And uh, the article did not state whether or not if it was because of the heavy rain. and the field would be unsafe for the players. Because I mean, if the field is waterlogged, it's easy for a player to roll his ankle, to slip, to tear a muscle. So these are some things that I was thinking, but it doesn't. This article doesn't suggest that, because they are saying that the organizers, in terms of the match referee and the umpires, are in agreement that play could have been made or could have started, right? Another question that comes into my mind is, what are the consequences, for not, for forfeiting the game? Are there any sanctions to be made for both teams? Are there any disciplinary actions to come? Right? These are some of the questions that pops in my mind, and we need some answers to. Another question is that we need to take into consideration how this will impact the stakeholders of the tournament, because this is not a village cricket or village league. This is a regional tournament, and there are international stakeholders involved. In it, you have TV rights, and I'm sure that they would have lost viewership, because a lot of it is the final, and I suspect that the final would attract most of the viewers or viewership, right? And they would have lost that viewership, right? So that's TV rights. You have title sponsors such as CG United. All this will affect, their revenue, you know. And it will not just affect them now, but how will this affect, stakeholders in future tournaments? Because we have to think about the impact. Because if people people sign contracts or go in deals, it's not an hobby, it's to make money, right? And if at the final, when at the climax of the tournament, when I think that's when they will make most of their revenues, and then nothing happens, it it's gonna impact them in terms of whether they want to be associated with a tournament like this in the future. We will have to make some assessment, as it relates to, those occurrence. Uh, Another question is that it seems that there was no contingency plan. Why is there no reserve day, in the event? Because rain would have been affecting the tournament right throughout. Many matches would have been, the result would have been made because of the DLS system. So we would have known that it is a factor, that it is quite possible that rain could affect the final. So why there is no contingency plan, why there is no reserve day, right, for the tournament, in the event that heavy rain, would have affected the final day, right? So who should be held accountable for this? Somebody needs to be held accountable, right? So these are some of the questions that Cricket West Indies should, provide some answer for. How will the prize money are going to split? That's another, concern we have as the public. And another question we have is, how the fans who would have bought ticket, how are they going to be compensated, right? Because time is very hard, and people would have bought ticket to see the game. No game would have been played. How do you compensate these fans, right? So these are some of the questions. As I said, I'm not here to curse anyone. I'm just here to, to have a conversation, a discussion, and to raise some question that would have popped in my mind. And I really encourage that you share your concern as well in the comment section. And I just hope when Cricket West Indies comes back to us, that they will have some answers to these questions. It's really unfortunate what would have happened yesterday. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disgruntled about what would have happened. We have to be better as a region, and this doesn't look good. to the wider, world, global population, and to the wider cricket fraternity. And so we have to be better in terms of how we organize tournaments. As I said before, it was a very good tournament leading up to the finals, and it's just unfortunate that this would have happened in the final of the what would have been a wonderful tournament. We would have seen so many centuries, some 5 wicket hauls, some a lot of 50s. We would have seen some really good cricket. Justin Greaves would have made 3 centuries, back to back centuries. So we would have seen a lot of good things coming out of the tournament. But once this would have happened, this is going to take center stage. And it's very unfortunate that this issue is taking center stage when it should have been, we are celebrating with the winner of the tournament. So Cricket West Indies, you need to publish something better than this. And we are just, waiting, patiently for you to publish, and to publish something better, and to, give some clarity to the great areas that we would have highlighted in this podcast. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you again for watching, and this is where we will leave it for now. Do enjoy the rest of the evening.